welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into something the Las Vegas Tourism Board definitely doesn't want you to know about. While millions of tourists are still flocking to the Strip, thinking Vegas is this unstoppable money-making machine, behind those flashing neon lights and free drinks, some of the city's most iconic casinos are literally DYing. We're talking about establishments that have lost tens of millions of dollars in 2025 alone. Places that used to be the crown jewels of Sin City, now struggling just to keep their doors open. And what's really shocking? Most tourists have no idea this is happening. They're still booking rooms, still gambling away their savings, at casinos that might not even exist in 5 years. So today, I'm going to expose the 5 Vegas casinos that are hemorrhaging money faster than a slot machine jackpot. These are places you should absolutely avoid if you want to experience the real Vegas. Because, trust me, after you see these numbers, you'll never look at the Strip the same way again. But before we dive in, if you're planning a Vegas trip anytime soon, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because I'm constantly exposing the tourist traps and money pits that the casinos don't want you to know about. And if this video helps you save even $100 on your next Vegas trip, do me a favor and drop a like. It really helps the channel reach more people who need to see this information. Alright, let's get into it. Now, before I reveal these dying casinos, I need to tell you something important. The information I'm about to share comes from industry insiders, financial reports, and leaked documents that most people never get to see. Some of this stuff is so sensitive that certain casinos have actually tried to suppress it, but the truth has a way of coming out. And what you're about to discover will completely change how you think about Las Vegas. So buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride. Let's start with number 5 on our countdown of dying Vegas casinos. Circus Circus. Now, if you've ever been to Vegas, you've probably seen this place. It's that massive pink and white striped building that looks like it hasn't been updated since 1985. And here's the thing, it basically hasn't. In 2025, Circus Circus reported a staggering $47 million loss. $47 million. That's not a typo. This casino that used to be packed with families and tourists now has some of the lowest occupancy rates on the entire Strip. We're talking about occupancy rates that dropped to just 31% during peak season. Think about that for a second. During the busiest time of year in Las Vegas, when every other hotel is completely booked, Circus couldn't even fill 1/3 of their rooms. But here's where it gets really bad. Their gaming revenue, the bread and butter of any casino, dropped by 62% compared to 2024. 62%. That means for every $100 they made in 2024, they're only making $38 now. And why is this happening? Well, there are 3 main reasons. First, families are leaving Vegas. The city has completely shifted away from the family-friendly image it tried to build in the 90s. Parents don't want to bring their kids to a place that's basically become an adult playground. And Circus Circus, with its circus acts and carnival games, was built entirely around attracting families. Second, the property is falling apart. I'm talking about carpets that smell like they haven't been cleaned in decades, elevators that break down constantly, hotel rooms that look like they belong in a budget motel from the 1970s. Guests are literally posting reviews saying they felt unsafe staying there. And third, the competition has completely passed them by. While other casinos are building incredible restaurants, world-class shows, and luxury experiences, Circus Circus is still trying to entertain people with the same tired circus acts they've been doing for 40 years. In fact, industry experts are predicting that Circus Circus will either be sold or demolished within the next 3 years. The property is worth more as raw land than as a functioning casino. And here's the kicker. Despite all of these problems, they're still charging tourists premium prices. A basic room that would cost you $50 at a decent hotel off the Strip will run you $150 at Circus Circus, for a room that probably hasn't been properly renovated since the Clinton administration. So if you're planning a Vegas trip, do yourself a favor and stay literally anywhere else. Trust me, your vacation will be infinitely better. Moving on to number 4, Sahara Las Vegas. Now this one is particularly tragic because the Sahara used to be one of the most legendary casinos in Vegas history. This is where the Rat Pack used to hang out, where Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Sammy Davis Jr. would perform. It was the epitome of old school Vegas glamour. But in 2025, it's a shadow of its former self. The casino reported losses of over $73 million. $73 million. And here's what's really shocking about those numbers. This is the third consecutive year of massive losses for Sahara. We're not talking about a temporary slump. This is a death spiral. The casino has changed ownership 4 times in the past decade. Each new owner comes in promising to restore the magic of the original Sahara. And each time, they burn through hundreds of millions of dollars before giving up. The current owners, SLS Entertainment Group, have basically admitted they have no idea how to make this property profitable. In leaked internal documents that surfaced in late 2024, company executives were caught saying the property was unsalvageable and they were looking for an exit strategy. But here's why Sahara is dying so spectacularly. Location, location, location. The casino sits at the north end of the Strip, and I'm talking about the DEAD North End. It's literally a 15-minute walk from the nearest major casino in Vegas, where people want to hop from casino to casino. Being isolated like that is basically a death sentence. Tourists book a room at Sahara thinking they're staying on the Strip. Then they realize they have to take a taxi or walk forever just to get to the action. Most people check out after one night and never come back. The gaming floor tells the whole story. During peak hours on a Saturday night, when casinos like Bellagio and Caesars are packed wall to wall with gamblers, Sahara's gaming floor looks like a ghost town. I'm talking about rows and rows of slot machines with nobody playing them, blackjack tables that are completely empty. It's honestly kind of eerie to see. And the restaurants? Don't even get me started. Half of them have closed permanently. The ones that are still open have such low foot traffic that the food sits under heat lamps for hours. Multiple food bloggers have warned people to avoid eating at Sahara entirely. One reviewer said it was the worst meal they've ever had in Las Vegas. Coming from a city known for incredible dining, that's saying something. But perhaps the most telling sign that Sahara is dying? They can't book any major headliner acts. While other Strip casinos are hosting residencies with superstars like Adele, Carrie Underwood, and Bruno Mars, Sahara is hosting tribute bands and washed-up acts from the 1980s. No major performer wants to be associated with a failing casino. It's bad for their brand. Industry insiders are predicting that Sahara will be completely closed by 2027. The building will probably be demolished and turned into something else entirely. Maybe condos, maybe retail space, maybe nothing at all. But one thing's for sure, the days of Sahara as a functioning casino are numbered. Coming in at number 3, Treasure Island. Now this one hurts to talk about because Treasure Island used to be absolutely incredible. When it opened in 1993, it was revolutionary. The pirate ship battles in front of the casino were legendary. Families would plan entire trips around watching those shows. The property had this perfect balance of family entertainment and adult gambling. But in 2025, Treasure Island lost $89 million. $89 million. And the reasons why are honestly infuriating. About 15 years ago, the casino's management made a catastrophic decision. They decided to pivot away from the family-friendly pirate theme and rebrand as an adult-oriented TI casino. They got rid of the pirate shows, removed most of the themed decorations, basically stripped away everything that made Treasure Island special. And what did they replace it with? Generic adult entertainment and gambling. The problem? Vegas already has dozens of casinos offering generic adult entertainment and gambling. Treasure Island went from being unique and memorable to being completely forgettable. The numbers don't lie. Gaming revenue at Treasure Island has declined every single year since the rebrand. Hotel occupancy rates are consistently among the lowest on the Strip. And customer satisfaction scores? They're absolutely brutal. The casino currently has a 2.3 out of 5 rating on TripAdvisor. Most of the reviews are people saying they'll never stay there again. But here's what's really killing Treasure Island. They're stuck in no man's land. They're not family-friendly enough to attract parents with kids, but they're also not luxurious enough to attract high-end gamblers. They're not cheap enough to be a budget option, but they're also not premium enough to justify their prices. They've literally positioned themselves in the worst possible place in the market, and the property shows it. The casino floor feels dated and tired. The restaurants are mediocre at best. The hotel rooms are fine, but nothing special. There's literally no reason to choose Treasure Island over any other casino on the Strip. In fact, the only thing keeping Treasure Island alive right now is the Mystique Theater. They have this one Cirque du Soleil show called Mystique that actually draws crowds. But here's the problem. The revenue from that one show isn't nearly enough to sustain the entire property. It's like putting a band-aid on a severed artery. Industry analysts are saying that Treasure Island needs to either completely reinvent itself or shut down within the next few years. Some investors are actually pushing for the property to be sold and converted into luxury condos, which tells you everything you need to know about how bad things have gotten. When investors think your casino would be worth more as residential housing, you know you're in trouble. The really sad part? This didn't have to happen. If Treasure Island had just stuck with their pirate theme and updated it for modern audiences, they probably would have been incredibly successful. Look at Disney. They've been using the same characters and stories for decades, but they constantly update and refresh them. Treasure Island could have done the same thing. Instead, they threw away their unique identity and became just another forgettable casino. And now they're paying the price. Number 2 on our countdown, Westgate Las Vegas. Now, most tourists don't even know this casino exists. And honestly, that's part of the problem. Westgate is located off the Strip, near the Las Vegas Convention Center. And in 2025, they reported catastrophic losses of $127 million. $127 million. That's more money than some small country's entire GDP. But here's the really crazy part about Westgate. This casino used to be called the Las Vegas Hilton, and back in the day, it was the place to stay in Vegas. This is where Elvis Presley performed over 600 shows, where he basically lived for the last 7 years of his career. The property was legendary, but now, it's basically a ghost town with slot machines. The main problem with Westgate is that it's trying to survive on nostalgia alone. The entire marketing strategy seems to be, hey, remember when Elvis used to perform here? But here's the thing. Most Vegas visitors today weren't even born when Elvis was performing, and the ones who were, they're not the demographic that's driving Vegas tourism anymore. Modern Vegas is all about high-end experiences, incredible restaurants, and cutting-edge entertainment. Westgate is still trying to sell people on memories from the 1970s. The property feels like a time capsule, and not in a good way. We're talking about carpets, furniture, and decor that look like they haven't been updated since the Reagan administration. The hotel rooms are small, outdated, and overpriced. The restaurants serve the kind of buffet food that gives Vegas buffets a bad reputation. And the casino floor? It's filled with the oldest slot machines I've ever seen. I'm talking about machines that still use actual coins. In 2025, when every other casino has moved to digital credit systems. But the real killer for Westgate is the location. Being off the Strip in Las Vegas is like opening a restaurant in the middle of the desert. Sure, some people might find you if you're really, really good. But most tourists want to stay where the action is. They want to be able to walk from casino to casino. Westgate requires a taxi or rideshare just to get to the Strip. And once people get to the Strip, why would they come back? The convention business, which used to be Westgate's bread and butter, has completely dried up. Corporate travel budgets have been slashed. Most conventions now book blocks of rooms at Strip properties because attendees want to be where they can network and entertain clients. Nobody wants to stay at the isolated hotel off the Strip. Westgate's occupancy rates during convention season dropped to just 23% in 2025. 23%. During what should be their busiest time of year. The writing is clearly on the wall. Multiple industry sources have told me that Westgate is actively looking for a buyer. But here's the problem. Nobody wants to buy it. The property would need hundreds of millions of dollars in renovations just to become competitive. And even then, the location would still be a major problem. Some real estate developers have floated the idea of tearing down the entire complex and building something completely different. Maybe office space, maybe retail, maybe apartments, anything other than a casino. Because as a casino, Westgate is basically worthless. It's actually kind of heartbreaking when you think about it. This place where Elvis created some of his most memorable performances, where music history was made, is now just a money-losing relic that nobody wants. But that's the brutal reality of the Vegas casino business. Nostalgia doesn't pay the bills, and sentiment doesn't fill hotel rooms. And finally, number 1 on our countdown of dying Vegas casinos, the Strat. Now, this one might surprise some of you, because the Strat actually has some pretty cool attractions. The observation tower, the thrill rides, the views of the city. But as a casino business, it's an absolute disaster. In 2025, the Strat lost a mind-blowing $156 million. $156 million! That's more than the other 4 casinos combined. And here's why the Strat is failing so spectacularly. First, the location is terrible. It's at the very north end of the Strip, even further north than Sahara. Most tourists never even make it that far up the Strip. They stay in the central area around Bellagio, Caesars, and MGM Grand. Second, the Strat has a serious identity crisis. Are they a thrill ride destination? Are they a budget gambling option? Are they a convention hotel? They're trying to be everything to everyone and ending up being nothing to anyone. Third, and this is the big one, the property is physically falling apart. The tower itself, which is supposed to be the main attraction, has had multiple mechanical failures with the rides. In 2025 alone, the rides were shut down for safety reasons over 40 times. 40 times. When your main attraction is constantly broken, people stop coming. The hotel rooms are among the worst on the Strip. I've seen budget motels with nicer accommodations. The casino floor is outdated and depressing. And the restaurants. Well, let's just say the food court at your local mall probably has better options. But here's what's really killing the Strat. They can't attract any meaningful gambling business. The type of tourists who visit the Strat. They come for the views and the rides. They're not serious gamblers. They might put $20 in a slot machine and call it a night. Meanwhile, the Strat has massive overhead costs from maintaining that giant tower and all the rides. So they're spending millions on upkeep, but not generating enough gambling revenue to cover it. It's a business model that simply doesn't work. Industry experts are saying that the Strat will likely close permanently within the next 2 years. The tower might survive as some kind of observation attraction, but the casino and hotel portions are doomed. And honestly, that's probably for the best. Because right now, the Strat is just taking advantage of tourists who don't know any better. So there you have it, the 5 Vegas casinos that are literally dying before our eyes. Circus Circus, hemorrhaging money and living in the past. Sahara, isolated and forgotten. Treasure Island, a victim of terrible rebranding decisions. Westgate, clinging to nostalgia that nobody cares about anymore. And the Strat, trying to be everything and succeeding at nothing. The lesson here is simple. Not all Vegas casinos are created equal, and just because a place has a famous name or a prime location doesn't mean it's worth your time or money. Do your research before you book your next Vegas trip. Read recent reviews. Look at the photos. And maybe consider avoiding these 5 dying casinos entirely. Trust me, Vegas has plenty of incredible options. You don't need to waste your vacation at a place that's circling the drain. If this video helped you plan a better Vegas trip, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more Insider Vegas content. And let me know in the comments, have you stayed at any of these casinos? What was your experience like? I read every single comment and I'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.